Come to me, my children. Follow the sound of my voice to receive thy blessings. Unburden yourself.
Ow! 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 Ow!
And welcome to the Church of Last Resort with the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. The Church of Last Resort, where your prayers are heard, your sins forgiven, and no matter what you believe, you won't believe this shit. And now, the Reverend, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. And thank you for joining us wherever you thank you for joining us. And this includes our new members who may be enjoying us for the first time, wherever you may be, wherever you want to be, because you may not be where you want to be yet. There you are. Here in my office, my big, beautiful 10 by 12 office. Yes, indeed. It is Sunday, May 3rd, the 468th day of the Sex Offender Administration. And it's 70 degrees with zero humidity. But on the other side of this wall, the other side of this gorgeous wall, just see that? I'm touching that. I'm touching the wall right there. 9 inches on the other side of that wall is 46 degrees. It's sunny. I mean sunny. You know, yesterday my life was filled with no clouds. That's right, that kind of sunny. And it's 0% humidity, 0% chance of rain, and there's a 100% chance that Spirit Airlines is a ghost. That's right. I think they gone. Actually, I'm surprised they ever got off the ground. But yeah, they're filing for some kind of chapters. More chapters than I'll ever read, that's for damn sure. Welcome to the Church of Last Resort. I am the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, PhD, DDS, ADHD, MCM, LIX. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. There's an X. People have also called me the racy reverend, the pervert pastor, the vile vulgar vicar of vice, the sexy shepherd, the missionary man, the minister of mischief, the dirty deacon of doggy style, the freaky friar, the ass man abbot, the colored cleric, the booty banging brother, the handsy high priest, the shameless shaman, Father Fismus, the wicked I like to watch witness, the holy hoe, the divine dominating dominee, the depraved preacher, the tickle me theologian, the minister of making love, the clergy of cunning conversation while eating coochie, and that nasty N-word. That's right. Good morning, Sister Ann. That's right, out in California. Hey, good morning, Sister Ann. That's right, Sister Ann. Sister Ann. Sister Ann. That's right, good morning, Sister Ann. The point is that I come by many names and by many methods, but I do not come easy. I do not. It takes a little work. Okay, it takes a lot of work. And occasionally some drugs and a little alcohol. But I do eventually. So let us begin in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor. Can I get a fuck? Yeah. Fuck yeah! That's right. It is time for the fucks and the yayas. That's right. Time for our opening prayers. This time is sponsored by G.D. Fenderson, Certified Forensic Humorist. If you have an opening that needs to be filled by a humorist, G.D. Fenderson has what it takes to fill that opening. That's right. So check them out on gigsalad.com. That's right. If I'm going to be promoting something, I'm going to be promoting something that I believe in. And I believe Chantilly doesn't have a head. I can't do that. If you or someone you know is in need of a prayer by the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, please send your request for a prayer, healing, forgiveness, or any such requests to me at drreverendjellyroll@gmail.com. Just like they did when I checked my emails, just like they did from Spotify. Spotify sent me like 5 emails this week. 5. Okay, wanting to know why I'm not sending stuff to Spotify anymore. It's like, because it's a lot of fucking work. and I don't feel like it anymore. There's a lot. I don't feel like doing more work than I have to. That's right. That's why I'm a missionary man. All right. but that is spelled Dr. DrRevJellyrOlle at gmail.com. Okay, that is how you spell the Dr. Reverend Jelly Rolls email, just like it's scrolling across the bottom. See the way it's scrolling across the bottom? Yes, indeed, just scrolling across the bottom. Good morning. Yeah, good morning, Brother Heavy Cab. That's right, Brother Heavy Cab and Brother Ian. It's good to see you all in the church today. It's good to see everybody in the pews. That's right, everybody in the pews. We're going to take a pew poll later, and the pew poll is going to show everybody what's going on in the pews. And people with the pew polls up, you got to put the pew polls down. Not pupils. Keep the pupils up. Pew polls down, because you want to poke yourself in the pupils with the pew poll. That's right. I'm talking about, and not saying peepholes either. Pew polls, not pupils. Not pupils, peoples, vocals. That's right. So, apparently somebody thinks I don't need Jesus. I got Jesus. I got Jesus right here. I got Jesus right here. These nuts. All right, there you go. So, but if you do not spell that right you don't spell my name right, I'm not going to get the emails. Okay, I'm not going to see them. I'm not going to know what to pray for. I'm not going to know what to pray about. I'm not going to know what to write back because I won't see them. That's right. If I don't see them, I can't answer them. That's right. If I don't see them, I can't answer them. Hey, that's right. Damn right. That's right. Yes, indeed. So make sure you spell it with the E on the end. That's right. Otherwise, one of those other jelly rolls are going to get it, and they're going to fuck with your head. And they're going to say, ooh, I'll hear your prayer, but you got to send me $10,000 or you got to come to my next show in Rockport, wherever the fuck Rockport is. I'm not like that. I'm not going to say, I'll bless you, but you got to come to my show. I'll bless you whether you come to my show or not, because you asked for a blessing. That's my job to bless. I got a blessed job. We got a blessed job. You do your blessed job by blessing. Now for our disclaimer. While all prayers are heard, not all prayers are answered when we want them to be. Some loopholes and restrictions may apply, especially this month. This is the very month that you apply them. Starting on Friday. That was like the world's Labor Day. That's right. So please bow your head. Unless you're driving your car or your significant other. That's right. And if that is the case, just close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Close them. And let Jesus do the driving while we pray. That's right. But do not let go of the wheel until you know Jesus has control. And I'm talking full control, not just the steering, but the gas and the brake as well. That's right. As well. And we got a lot of dead people this week. A lot of dead people. I had to cut some of the dead people out. There's so many dead people. I was like, nobody gives a shit about J. Craig Venter. Yeah. Did something with some genomes. Nobody's gonna. Because then I had to explain to people what a genome is, and then write a joke about a genome. And I was like, what was the point of that? I don't write the jokes anyway. I just read them. Whatever. See, here's the beautiful part. GD writes this shit. He writes it like 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. And then he leaves me a little note, like how I should do something, like, emphasis on that word, blah, 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 blah. And then I do it. And if it's funny, I get credit because nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. And if it's bad, I tell you, GD wrote that shit right up front. And since he's not listening, he don't know I said that. He won't know until later. He'll go check it out and go like, what the fuck? So, good morning. Good morning, sister. Good morning, Sister Sunshine. Good day, sunshine. That's right. And I see we have a mind dog in there. What's up? What's up? Tell you. Dear Lord, please bless Sister Nidra Tally Ross. Nidra Tally Ross, American pop and Christian music vocalist, has died. She was 80. Now, you say, who was she? She was one of the founding members of the Ronettes. That's right. The Ronettes, they were like I'll tell you about the Ronettes a little bit later. Her cause of death, okay? Her cause of death is listed as SUDS, Sudden Undisclosed Disease Syndrome, although she struggled with dementia. Sometimes she remembered that she had it, sometimes she did not. That was the struggle. According to her daughter, Tally Ross has passed away peacefully in her own bed. I'm assuming her bed was in her own home, because it would be a shame to die peacefully in your own bed, but someone done took your bed and put it out in the highway, middle of the freeway. You don't know it's there. And all of a sudden, you're sleeping, and it's peaceful, but someone, bam, bus hits your bed, and that's what kills you. Then the bus don't stop, so nobody discloses it. That's right. I'm just saying, they need to say where the bed was. Now, like I said, she was one of the Ronettes. There were 3 of them. They wore the tight skirts, and the beehive hairdos, which I think everybody wore tight skirts and beehive hairdos. The Rolling Stones wore tight skirts and beehive hairdos back in '63. That's right. Now, the Rolling Stones opened for the Ronettes in '64. See, that was after they stopped wearing the beehives and the tight skirts. That's how Jagger learned to dance like that. You know, it wasn't because it's the tight skirts. He just danced like that with the tight skirts. And once he got the tight skirts off, people got used to him dancing like that, and he kept the dance. Everybody knows that. That's VH1 material right there. You got to watch behind the beehives. Rolling Stones opened for the Ronettes in '64. And then the Ronettes opened for the Beatles in '66 and '67. And then they were opening the want ads looking for work. They opened for the Beatles in '66. And in '67, they were opening the want ads looking for work. That's it. It probably would have been funnier if I had read it right. Fuck. You know, now that's something, that's on me. GD wrote it wrong, but I said it wrong. He wrote it right, I said it wrong. Damn it. After the Ronettes broke up, Nidra Tally married Scott Ross, became a born-again Christian, and released several solo contemporary Christian music albums like The Courts of the King, the worship music of Ted Sandquist. You know who Ted Sandquist is, right? I know I don't. And I didn't even stop to Google it to find out. Didn't even think anybody's going to ask me. I didn't think anybody's going to say, who's Ted Sandquist? I didn't think that. So I didn't even Google him. I was thinking Courts of the King. Okay. Oh, and another album, Full Circle. And I mentioned that one because it was produced by her husband, Scott Ross. That's right. She also built a successful second career in real estate in Virginia. I'm sure that every sales pitch started with her naming her hits. She goes, hi, welcome to my open house. You probably knew my song, Be My Baby. That's right. That was a single that we had for Phil Spector before he became Shoot 'em Up Spector. That's right. You probably heard my song, Baby, I Love You. That's right. Let's walk to the bedroom. Let me show you this bedroom over here while I tell you about the best part of breaking up. Here we go. Here we go. Let me tell you about this kitchen. Right over here, this kitchen. And walking in the rain. That's right. There you go. And here, oh, look at that. Check out that patio. Do I love you? That's right. Do I love you? Yes, indeed. And here, I tell you what, look over there. There's a sauna. I can hear the music. So you know, every one of her sales pitches for a house when she was trying to sell one she mentioned her songs in every last sentence in every room. She did it. You know she did it because you'd have done it. You know you would have done it. There's a guy, Hank Porter. He would have done the same thing. He'd have taken his one hit and whatever room he walked in, he'd have mentioned it. That's right. We all would have done it. Rest in peace, Nidra. I hope that wherever your new real estate is, you can still hear the music. That's right. Can I get a beehive hairdo? That's right. Dear Lord, please bless Sister Marie Claire Costello. I'm sorry, Marie Claire Costello, actress, has died. She was 90. The cause of death is listed as natural causes. Causes nobody took the time to find out what actually killed her. According to her family, she was, quote, never sick, close quote, and had a strong constitution, which Donald Trump was trampling on it at the time of her death. So there you have it. The actress, best known for her recurring role as school teacher Rosemary Hunter on The Waltons. That's right. People said she was there for like 5 seasons, 15 episodes. But that's why everybody knew her. Everybody except for the youngins. For horror fans, Costello may be best known for her role as vampiric hippie Emily from Let's Scare Jessica to Death, 1971. In Let's Scare Jessica to Death, she rises from a lake in a wedding dress in what is perhaps her most memorable scene. Nice day for a wet wedding. Other genre outings from Costello include films such as Nightmares and Shadow of the Blair Witch. Rest in peace, Marie Claire. You were spookier than any spook I knew. And I can say that because I don't give a fuck. And I get one less fuck to give. There you go, because I just used one. I got one less to give. There you go. Dear Lord, please bless Brother Jerry Conway. Brother Jerry Conway, the one-time Marvel editor-in-chief and groundbreaking comic book writer who redefined franchises such as The Amazing Spider-Man, has died. He was 73. His cause of death was pancreatic cancer. Now, Conway was declared cancer-free in 2023, but the cancer was not Jerry Conway free. So in 2026, he died. Not the cancer. The cancer probably died with him. It's kind of hard once you kill the host that you can live without the host. Now, isn't that weird? You get a disease like cancer. It needs a host to survive, but it kills the host and it dies. I don't know what kind of, what Freud or Jung would say about that. Now, during his time at Marvel, Conway wrote on virtually every major title, ranging from The Amazing Spider-Man, where he took over from Stan Lee, to Fantastic Four, Thor, Avengers, and Defenders. That's right. During the 70s, Jerry loved to rhyme with his work. Now, I got a cough. So y'all just hold on. I'm going to mute myself while I cough. Sorry about that, but it's live. I couldn't edit that out. And I didn't want you to hear me choking on my whatever that is. Don't speculate. Don't speculate. It's still early. Too early to be speculating about what's in the back of my throat. But we will take bets on Polymarket. Okay. Now, as most Trekkies already know, Conway was a key contributor to the Star Trek comics, which ran in newspapers from 1979 until 1983. I'm not a Trekkie. I did not know that. That's right. That's kind of fucked up. I didn't know they had a newspaper comic in the 79, 83. But the artwork was pretty good. I saw some clippings. Pretty fucking good artwork for a newspaper. Rest in peace, Jerry. You have boldly gone where every man will eventually go. The final frontier. I don't mean space. Can I get an undiscovered country? And a country is not a tree, just so you know. Don't want you to think it's like go up my yard and you see a country. It's a land with borders. It's a geographical configuration. It's a political and geographical configuration with borders, and not the bookstore. Fuck it. Dear Lord, please bless Brother Josh Morrow. Josh Morrow, former NFL defensive lineman who played 8 seasons for 3 different teams, has died. He was 35. His cause of death is SUDS, sudden undisclosed disease syndrome. The 6'6", 290-pounder played 6 seasons with the Cardinals and 1 each with the New York Giants and then the Oakland Raiders. His most productive season came in 2016 with the Cardinals when he played 15 games, starting in 13 of them, and finished with 32 whole tackles. That's it. Okay? It took me longer to write this obit than it did for him to get 32 tackles. Okay, that's a lie. I didn't write this obit. The point is, that's not very long. Okay? If he wasn't so young when he died, I wouldn't have even cared. I mean, I'm curious as what kills a otherwise seemingly healthy 35-year-old, and they don't want to mention it. One thing that Josh and I both had in common, that's right. Well, no, I'm not 6'6". I know I look it on the screen. I look 6'6", but that's just the camera adding a few inches. That's why I used to do porn. One thing that we used to have in common was that neither one of us was drafted by the NFL. That's right. Neither one of us. That's something I have in common with an NFL player. Rest in peace, Josh. 8 seasons in the NFL. That's almost 1/4 of your life. That's right. Can I get a polymarket bet on drug overdose? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, what else would kill a 35-year-old man they'd say has no health issues? Guns. Because if it was a bus going through his forehead, guess what? They'd have said a bus. Just like that lady out in Idaho. I think it was Idaho. Could have been Iowa. A politician died in a plane crash last week. She was healthy. The plane crash killed her. Of gravity. Well, the point is they know. Not undisclosed. Dear Lord, please bless Brother Roger Sweet. Roger Sweet, the toy designer, credited with helping bring He-Man and the Masters of the Universe to life, has died. He was 91. His cause of death was dementia. No power in my skull. I have dementia. That's right. That's how he told me to say it. I apologize if that hurt your ears, but it says right here, do it like the TV show. And I'm assuming that the TV show is He-Man. Why would he pick a different TV show? He's like, say it like the TV show. And I go like, no power in my skull. I have dementia. See, that doesn't even make sense. I don't even know what TV show that is. Sweet passed away peacefully at a care facility. Earlier this year, his wife Marlene revealed that he had been diagnosed with dementia and required specialized memory care, prompting a fundraiser to help cover the high cost of treatment. So maybe it wasn't dementia. Maybe they just ran out of money. People stopped giving. People do that, they go like, yes, put it on your credit card for 12 months, month to month. I put it up for 1 month, and then they find out that every month somebody's taking money out, and they go like, whoa, what's this? I can't keep giving. No, stop. And enough people did that until they stopped the credit cards, that stopped the payments, that stopped his brain, which stopped his heart. After Mattel passed on, and this is a funny story. I ain't got time to tell it. But Mattel had a chance to own the rights to all the Star Wars toys, and they passed on it. They're like, fuck off. So after Mattel passed up on Star Wars, Mattel struggled to launch a popular action figure based on original intellectual property. So to solve this, Sweet experimented. That's what he called it, okay? It said he was playing with his big gem, gluing them into different stances, and then he added clay to his body for bulk. Yeah. Creating a prototype for He-Man. Yeah, okay. I know. And I'm sure it happens all the time. A guy is alone and he's playing with his action figure, and then somebody walks in and goes, "I'm experimenting, trying to make a new toy for Mattel." You don't work for Mattel. Oh, for Ford Motor Company. So that's what they say. How he created the prototype for He-Man. That's the official story. Okay, Sweet successfully pitched the concept to Mattel, and He-Man officially hit markets in 1982. And like most overcompensating males, he lacked He parts. That's right, He-Man did not have He parts. Rip. Rest in peace, Roger. He-Man was cringier than Battle Cat. That's right, you have to be like a huge fan of that shit to know what I'm talking about. Can I get a big pussy? See, you really have to know who Battle Cat is for that to make sense. Otherwise, you're like, I don't get it. See? And if you don't get it, it's okay. I didn't get it either because I didn't watch Battle Cat. Matter of fact, I was like, Battle Cat? What the kind of cringer? What? Dear Lord. Dear Lord. Dear Lord. Dear Lord. Please bless Brother David Allan Coe. David Allan Coe, the country singer-songwriter who wrote the working class anthem, Take This Job and Shove It, and had hits with Mona Lisa, Lost Her Smile, and The Ride, among others, has died. He was 86. He passed while being hospitalized in intensive care, and no cause of death has been released. Smart money is on Dire Bigots or Rock and Roll Fever. Those are your two choices. Known for his raw songwriting, rebellious persona, and controversies over offensive lyrics, Coe influenced generations of artists across country and beyond. Tributes from peers like Kid Rock. Okay. All right. I know where this is going. To hell in a handbasket. Okay. I looked up the lyrics to Little Susie Swallowthroat, and Google said, you may also like Don't Bite the Dick and Fucking in the Butt. Google is learning me so well. Maybe I will like it. We'll see. Rest in peace, Alan. I don't know where you're headed, but you may pass your handbasket on the way. Can I get a coffee to go? And finally, Lord, please bless the entire behind-the-scenes staff at Mind Dog TV. They are truly doing your work, helping to spread your word throughout the wordosphere. That's right. They could be anywhere today. I mean, anywhere. They could be anywhere within like a half an hour distance of the house because they don't like driving that far. But they could be anywhere within a half an hour of their house. But they're not. They're here today, helping us, helping me, help you, help each other. That's right. He's trying to help us spread the word throughout the wordosphere. That's right. Could be anywhere, but they're here today, just wishing that they were somewhere else. And that ought to count for something. MindDogTV.com, the place to go to get your Church of the Last Resort gear and other stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be pimping stuff out tomorrow. I'm going to be hosting an open mic. I, I was asked to host an open mic. They reached out to me and said, Rev, we are tired of the same types of hosting our open mics. We want something different. You got something different. Ain't no cure for it. Please bring it to our open mic and host. And I went, fuck yeah. Sure I will. Give me a chance to let people know about the show and promote stuff. Yeah, I'll make appearances. As a matter of fact, for a minimal amount of money, I'll come to where you are and host your event. That's right. I don't even know how to promote that. Just email me. You want me to come to your event and host it? I'm there. We'll talk money after I leave with your good silverware. How much it's going to cost you to get it back? Yes, right. I'm not going to charge you anything up front. You're going to have to pay on the back end or in the back end if you got no money. Sorry. So, brothers and sisters, now you may not want to have me host now. I was like, I don't know. If I want him host, I don't even know if I want him in my house anymore. That's okay. Sorry. Now, let's have a little bump for the Lord. This is what all my little drunks are waiting for. All my little drunks are sitting out there going, Rev, stop talking. Get to the drinking. All right. Now let's have a little bump for the Lord. Brought to you by Bump in a Bottle. Straight from our vineyards to your innards. Wine, just like Jesus used to make.
Amen.
Oh, yeah. You see, there's not much left. So I'm going to finish that by the end of the show. That's right. I'll finish it by the end of the show. Oh, Lord. Yeah. So, brothers and sisters, let us, in the name of George Collin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck? Yeah.
Fuck yeah! Fucking
right.
liars!
No, fucking yeah. Not
fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Fucking liars!
We want to have a talk with Brad Pitt, because we know that's who that is saying fucking liar. That's Brad Pitt.
Praise the Lord!
And I don't know who the fuck that is, but I know Brad Pitt when I hear him.
Fuck yeah!
Now, brothers and sisters, it is that time of the day, that time of the show, where we start looking for God in all the wrong places. That's right. And today, we're looking for God in the Redemption Song by Bob Marley and the Wailers. Okay? The Redemption Song was the final track on Bob Marley and the Wailers' 1980 album, Uprising, and is widely regarded as one of Marley's greatest works because he was dying when he wrote it. That's it. There's no other reason. I listened to it, okay? It's not his greatest work. It says one of, but that's because they're being polite. They're saying one of because they know he was dying when he wrote it, and he knew he was dying when he wrote it. And the reason why he was dying when he wrote it is because he's a Rastafarian. And I'll tell you about that a little bit later. Why being a Rastafarian caused his death. Okay, well, I'll tell you about it in a moment. Okay, like I said, it was written during a period when Marley was battling cancer. Okay, and the song reflects his contemplation of mortality and his desire to leave a lasting message of hope and empowerment and a bag of weed. Unlike his typical reggae recordings, it is a solo acoustic performance emphasizing the song's intimate and reflective nature. And I got that from the Google search, except for where I improvised and threw in shit that wasn't part of the Google search. I'm not telling you which is which, because even I don't know. Now, the song, like I said, it's an acoustic piece. It starts off, old pirates, yes, they rob I. sold I to the merchant ships, minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. Okay, now I'm going to do a little bit of translating for you because this is in his native tongue of Rastafari. Okay, and in Rastafari, in Jamaica, the pronoun I is substituted for the pronoun me quite a bit. So if I were to say, okay, you can say, I went to the store. I'm trying to think here, it's like, gosh, bless America. So it says here, okay, if you were to say it, you say, old pirates, yes, they robbed me. Okay, now he says they robbed me, and they actually saying they stole me, not rob I, but they stole me. They took him. Okay, the old pirates, they took him, and it's not even talking about him. He's talking about his ancestors. Okay, he's talking about, and sold I to the merchant ships, slave ships. Okay, so he's talking about the Atlantic slave trade. Okay, the transatlantic slave trade. This is what this is a reference to. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. Okay, now, this reference to his ancestry is just the beginning, the setup where he is today, and also the whole idea of redemption. Because he's saying that with this redemption, we have to start with their original sin, which is slavery. Okay, and we'll get through all that as we go through the song. So that is the opening verse. It is referring to the slave trade. Now, the second verse, he skips beyond the slave trade, and he's talking about himself present day. And he goes, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. Okay, we forward in this generation triumphantly. Now, of course, let's go back a little bit. Okay, by my hand, okay, but my hand was made strong. Okay, so despite of the slavery and the oppression and the consistent oppression, he goes, I'm strong, and I'm strong because of my faith in God. Okay, we can pretty much assume when he's saying the Almighty, that's what he's talking about, the Almighty, and not like some comic character like the One Above All, okay, who is the comic strip version of the Almighty. Okay, so he says, my hand is made strong by God's strength, I'm strong because of God is strong. Okay, and then he says, and we forward in this generation triumphantly. So he says, and now we forward. We are strong together. Okay, we've moving forward and we are triumphant. That it was indeed a harrowing ordeal, both in transit and destination, one in which the narrator, Bob Marley, and those like him should not have survived and thrived. Yet via divine intervention, he and his people are still able to move forward triumphantly. Now, that and a defect in the genes. One of the things that killed a lot of the slaves coming over, and I believe me, if you're having trouble talking about the slave stuff, I get it. You've heard it all before, maybe. But current day African Americans or the Black peoples are predisposed to high blood pressure. High blood pressure. And they should lay back on the salt. But that very salt is what saved them on their trip over. Dehydration and malnutrition killed most of the slaves coming over. The ones that survived had like a higher salt content in their bloodstream. Okay, that's why you don't have in Africa, you don't see the same disproportionate number of Blacks with high blood pressure as you do in the Americas over here, because of the slave trade, killing off the weaker ones, or the ones without that predisposition to high blood pressure, which is what saved their life coming over. And then, of course, they interbreed and interbreed and interbreed. And that one thing that saved their life became a detriment to their life. That's right. So he's saying God, I'm saying goddamn salt. Next verse goes, the next verse goes, won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? Because all I have, redemption songs. Redemption songs. Now, back in the day, the Negro spiritual, you know, when they was working in the fields, like, oh, Lordy, pick a bill of cotton. Oh, Lordy, pick a bill of day. Pick a bill of hay. Oh, Lordy, pick a bill of cotton. Oh, Lordy, pick a bill of day. All right. Those songs, well, that's not exactly a spiritual song, although it does says, oh, Lordy. Those songs was where they drew their strength. You know, they united themselves around those songs. They reinvigorated each other with those songs, and they gave each other hope with those songs. And he's saying, let's bring them back and help me sing these songs, because this is all we have are these songs. Okay, now, not literally the songs, but the hope with each other, the camaraderie. Okay, it's not the songs themselves that's doing it. It's the fact that we're joining together to do it. So it's like saying, unite. Okay, let's sing these songs. Let's unite. Let's do this together. Now, the next verse, actually, it's not a verse, it's more like a chorus, because he repeats it multiple times. And by multiple, I mean more than one. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. But, sorry, I fucked up. I'm restart. Okay. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, because none of them can stop the time. Not the band. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, ho, ho, ho. What? I say, hallelujah. Hey. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Not that time. America, have you heard? Got a new dance. It's called The Bird. Not that time. I'm sorry. Once I start that song, I got to get it there. I love that. Oh, I love that. Yeah. What? Dun, dun. Yeah. Sorry. Man. Bring back memories and backaches. Now, that verse, that refrain, okay, at the beginning of that second line, it says, it's emancipate yourself from mental slavery. That line is a reference to Marcus Garvey. Okay, Marcus Garvey. He's credited. Let's see if I can find this, because it looks like I skipped something, and I don't know if I skipped or if I just deleted. I think I deleted. Okay, no sweat. I deleted some notes, so I'm going to do it from memory. At the beginning of the second verse is where Bob Marley channels the aforementioned Marcus Garvey. Okay, got it. Now, Marcus Garvey is credited with being the leader of founding the African American history as a curriculum in schools. He's the one that's given credit for that.
That's garbage.
I'm just saying.
That's garbage.
No, really,
that's garbage.
That's what it says. I'm not accrediting him that. They are, whoever they are, them. Okay, so Marcus Garvey is like accredited for that, and also the largest mass movement in African American history. I believe he wanted to get us to go back to Africa, the Back to Africa movement. Now, he is also credited with starting the Rastafarian movement or religion or faith, however you want to see it. And I'll talk about that a little bit later, because that's one of the reasons why Bob Marley was dead or died. And I'll explain that to you a little bit later, because we're going to hit that refrain again. And when we hit that refrain again, I'm going to talk about Marcus Garvey again. Otherwise, I'll be repeating myself. And this way I can have a different aspect of Marcus Garvey with that same verse there. So the next verse is, how long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, he does that twice. Not twice here, but twice in the song. He says that after every time when he goes, while we stand aside and look. Ooh, that's it. The only time he goes, ooh, in the song is after he says, while we stand aside and look. Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Now, there's basically just two things in there. It says, how long shall we let them kill our, how long will they kill our prophets and we just stand and look? Now, when he's talking about killing our prophets, he's talking about the Jesus, but he's also talking about the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, the people that are for the elevation and equal rights of people, okay? Those prophets, those who say everybody should be treated with dignity, those people, those prophets. And he's saying they were all killed. And I'm trying to go back over my list of the prophets that were talking about equal rights and freedom and trying to see which ones did not get killed. And I got one. And he's not a prophet, so fuck him. He's not. I'm not going to say Jesse Jackson. He's not a prophet. He was for profit. Slight difference. Okay. He was not a P-R-O-P-H-E-T. He was P-R-O-F-I-T. So he wasn't one of the good ones in my mind. I'm not saying he didn't do good things. You can do good things and not be a good one. You know, there are people who like do good things and they're just selfish. But the consequences of some of the things they did, other people benefited from. I'm not saying that, okay? Let me get out of this. Let me back up. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. Now, so he says, so while we stand aside and look, while we let them kill our prophets. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure what we can do to stop people killing the prophets. I don't know. You know, I guess, like I said, if Peter pulled out his sword to defend Jesus, and Jesus said, Peter, put away your sword. I'll go willingly. And he goes like, all right. And then boom, he's dead. And they're sitting there going like, should we have done something else? Peter, I pulled my sword. He said, yeah, but he told you to put the sword away. It's like, I don't know, should we use guns? We didn't have guns. Slings. The only thing I had was a sword. He put it away. Oh, it's too late. We can't bring him back now. We just stood by and watched. Okay. And then at the end, everybody's like, Jesus got mad at Peter and said, Peter, you betrayed me. He said, hey, I was going to save you with the sword. I didn't turn my back on you first. I had the sword. I was going to fight for you. And you said, put the sword away. What am I supposed to do? I throw my hands in the air and I walk away. I didn't know what else to do. And Jesus goes like, oh, I don't know. I was being rhetorical. I meant stab him harder, not cut off an ear. I don't know. See, that's Jesus' fault. Because Peter was going to defend him to the death. And Jesus said, don't. And then Jesus gets mad because Peter turns his back on him. What else is Peter supposed to do? You know, you got Peter, he had two choices, fight or flight. Jesus said, don't fight, so he flight. Jesus. Now, Martin Luther King, different story. Nobody saw that coming, so they couldn't fight. Malcolm X, nobody saw that coming, so we couldn't fight. Medgar Evers, nobody saw that coming, so he couldn't fight. So it's not like we stood by and watched. We didn't know it was coming. But he says, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Now, this reference, these two lines, is a reference to divine intervention, to destiny, saying that we didn't have a choice, so to speak. It says what they're doing is God's will. This is what they're saying, to fulfill the book. Now, the problem is, that's what all those fuckers say. If something happens, whether it's good or bad, they say it was God's will. And it doesn't matter the outcome. It doesn't matter what you ask for. You can say, "Dear Lord, save my son's life. He was a good man. You know, he works, he does volunteer work. He saves lives. He's rescued many people. He's a therapist. He's a fireman. He's a preacher. He's a teacher. And he gives 90% of his income to the church. Please don't let him die from this toenail infection." And then the toenail infection becomes septic and he dies. And they go, "Well, it was God's will." No, not everything is God's will. See, that's the problem. Sometimes shit happens and it has nothing to do with the will at all. No will, no way, no how. It's just shit happening. But people who need to believe that God is in on everything say, "Hey, it was God's will. God willed him to die." And it's not true, okay? And sometimes we just don't have an answer for what happens, and it's easy to say it's God's will. So Bob Marley just didn't have an answer why all of our prophets, all the good people die. So he's saying, hey, it's God's will. We're fulfilling God's will. Next verse goes, "Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom?" Now he's back. Now, why are we singing these songs of freedom if it's God's will that these things happen? Because we can't control these things. So we need to be strong, and there's strength in numbers. So we get together, we sing these songs together, we march together, we protest together, we execute these redemption songs so that we can find strength in each other through all the other shit that we can't stop and make sense of. And then we're back to this. Emancipate out yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Whoa, have no fear for atomic energy, because none of them can stop. Oh, now he sings it slightly different this time around. It goes, because none of them can stop the time. Ah! Hallelujah. Sorry. Ah, they ruined me. So now, I was talking about Marcus Garvey being the founder of the Rastafarian religion. He's recognized as the founder of the Rastafarian religion, even though he didn't sport the dreadlocks. He didn't have that, but he did have a good connection with the ganja. Now, one of the tenets of Rastafarian is that you want to be buried with all of your parts when you die, okay? And so in order for that to happen, you don't cut your hair, because otherwise you won't have all of it when you die. So once you become a Rastafarian, you don't cut your hair. But if you get, let's say you need surgery, let's say you have a ruptured appendix. If they take the appendix out, you won't have it to be buried with you, okay? So a lot of times they don't get that surgery. If you have, let's say you have cancer and they need to remove a lung or part of a stomach or part of a bowel. If you're a Rastafarian, your belief says you have to be intact when you die, okay? So they don't approve the surgery. And so these parts go bad and they kill you. Bob Marley had cancer, and if I remember correctly, he also had like a ruptured appendix at one point. And you can Google that yourself. I'm just remembering that, and I could be misremembering or ill-informed, but we knew about the cancer. So being a Rastafarian, he wanted to have all of his parts intact. Just imagine you're a Rastafarian and you have a wisdom tooth, okay? Impacted wisdom tooth. And you know those motherfuckers hurt. They just don't go away. Okay? And they say you can't take it out because you got to take it with you. Now, if I were a Rastafarian, I would have those parts taken out and saved in a jar. So I can do both. I can be healthy. And when the time comes to be cremated or buried, all those parts will just be put back in. You know, the coroner be going like, wait a second. While I got him open, you may put back the bad bowel, and put back the wisdom teeth, and we put back the appendix. I don't why a Rastafarian. Okay, all right. I've never done this before. I'll do my best. That's my solution. Save it and put it back after you're dead so you can be buried with all those parts. See, you've done both. You kept all your parts and you stayed healthy long enough to live without those parts. But that's just me. The next line says, how long shall they kill our prophets? Okay, we've been through this before. How long should they kill our prophets? And the truth is, they're going to just keep killing them as long as they're prophets and there's profit in it. Okay, and no, we don't have to stand by and look. We can actually fight back. I mean, there's two ways of doing this. Three ways. One, you can say, oh, go ahead, kill our prophets, we'll make more. That's one way of looking at it. Or you can say, prophets? No, we don't have a prophet. We're a non-profit. So there's nothing to kill. We're non-profit. And the third thing is, you lie about who the prophets are. So they get killed, and then the actual prophets, live on. It's kind of like in Iron Man 3, where Killian Aldred was actually the Mandarin, but he didn't want anybody to know he was the Mandarin. So he paid an actor, Trevor, to be the Mandarin. So when they come looking for the Mandarin, they took down Trevor, and Killian is like, that was the Mandarin? Son of a bitch. See? So those are your three options. Make more profits, be a non-profit, or put forward false prophets so when they kill them, the true prophets can be saved. That's just me and my thinking. And it goes back to, won't you help to sing all these songs of freedom? Because all I have had, redemption songs. All I ever had, redemption songs. These songs of freedom, songs of freedom. That's how it ends. So at the very end, now, I missed something that I mentioned. I neglected to mention something. The thing about the atomic energy, not to be afraid of whatever, they got the atomic, they're talking about the atomic bombs and things like that. Okay. And they're saying we can't stop them from dropping those bombs, but we got faith. If they drop the bombs, it's God's will. And if they don't drop the bombs, it's God's will. And you know how I feel about that God's will stuff. So God's willing, I'm not going to tell you about it again. So I thank you. That is the conclusion. That's the conclusion of so you can't ask the surgical guys for the parts back? Well, it says you can. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can. Yeah, yes. Now, brothers and sisters, that I thank you for listening, and I hope that there was something that you got out of the redemption song by Bob Marley and the Wailers. Thank you. Even though I said Bob Marley and the Wailers, there were no Wailers. It was a single and a solo. And again, people thought it was like, they say it was one of his greatest works because he was dying and he knew he was dying. Okay. And a lot of times we look back on people when they're dying and we say nice things about them because they're dying or because they're dead. Okay. It'll be like if I heard a rumor that Matt was dying and all of a sudden I start saying good things about Matt. Not a real Matt, an imaginary Matt, not any Matt that we know, just an imaginary Matt. Let's say an imaginary Matt was in a hospital and he was in a bad way. And all of a sudden I go, oh, we got to start saying good things about him. Even if they aren't true, say them. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to badmouth you, but I'm not going to make shit up. Okay. I'm not going to make shit up and say, oh, he was a great guy. I'll say he was a good friend. I love him. Love him. See, I'm not going to, there's no point in saying that he did enough good things that you can talk about him. Like he played, this imaginary Matt, not a real Matt. An imaginary Matt played, went out and entertained the troops and went out and entertained vets and went out and entertained the elderly. Okay. And yeah, that's good stuff. You ain't got to mix shit up like saying, and he also gave weed to deer. Okay, he did that. Or he fed stray animals. Okay, he did that. The point is, you ain't got to make shit up. Just stick to the truth. Okay? You ain't got to mention the bad stuff. Like, and he hung people out the window by the feet. You ain't got to
Fucking liars!
The point is, you don't have to lie about somebody because they're dying. You can tell the truth and leave out the bad parts for now, but don't sugarcoat. Okay? And I think that's what they did with this Bob Marley song. It's a good song, but it's not better than Three Little Birds. It's not better than No Woman, No Cry. Okay? I can think of like a half a dozen other Bob Marley songs that is not better than. But he knew he was dying when he wrote it. It's kind of like the I Have a Dream speech. No, it's not, because King didn't know. He knew he was dying. We're all going to die someday. So that's not a miraculous thing. But he told that speech like over 100 times. Okay, eventually he's going to get killed after one of them. And they make a big deal saying, and it was right after he told that speech. He told that speech 100 times. 100 times. He didn't get shot 100 times. So the point is, I hope you got something out of it. And I'm running long now. And I was about to say we're going to run short, but we didn't. So before I close, I want to thank all of you. Those of you who have subscribed to my fledgling YouTube channel and my Facebook fan page, Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll with an E. Bless you. Bless you all. Bless you, bless you, bless you. I also invite you to go to Gig Salad. If you need a humorist in your life, if you need a little GD in your life, go to gigsalad.com. When you need a little humorist in your life, go to gigsalad.com. Check out GD Fenderson. Now, on behalf of the Church of Last Resort and the entire Roll family, my wife Amona, my kids Cinnamon and Jelly Jr., our cat Tootsie, and our dog Stop Dropping, I wish you safe travels, and I hope you will join us next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Orthodox Time on Mind Dog TV and everywhere that our word is heard. In the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, can I get a buck? Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
That's right. Bless your children. Bless you. In the pews, people in the pews, people in the pews.